guys, it's Sasha, and in my last video, Grace Jung commented that how do I read that much and how do I find time to read? And so I figured I might as well make a video about my reading habits. Before I go into my reading habits, I just want to say, after like doing a whole bunch of tests on the internet, which is obviously not always that accurate, I found out I read at about an average of 384 words per minute, and the average person reads in between 200 to 250 words per minute. So there's that to put it in perspective. I love to read like right before I go to bed. I find that helps me calm my mind. So I usually read at least an hour before I go to bed, so that's like an hour every day that I will just take the time to read. Usually I'll read whatever book I'm into, but I also have some other long-term books I'm trying to read, like the complete works of Edgar Allan Poe. That's like a 100-page book, and I am trying to read that. I've read his complete works before, but I bought a new edition of them, and I really want to read them again. I find that when I'm reading, I read series quicker than standalones. When you're on a standalone, you get into the world, then the world ends, and then you have to pick up another book and get into that world. Whereas when a series, you just continue along with the same world, or they build onto that world. For me, I find it easier for that. And plus standalones, I have a hard time picking from my TBR shelf sometimes what to read next after I'm finished. Also, some of you may know I'm homeschooled, so I do read a lot for school. Right now I'm currently doing 2 different literature program type things, and I usually finish on average at least 1 book a week for school because of it. So that also compiles onto the total that I've read, because I always add the school books I read into my overall books that I've read for the year, not just the books I decide to read. Also, it really just depends on how I feel. Sometimes I will read like 4 books in 3 days, and other times it will take me a week to finish what should be an easy book. But then it also depends on the type of genre for me. I find I finish YA books a lot faster than, let's say, adult historical fiction books. Also, I rarely give up on books. Even if I hate it, I will finish it. So sometimes that causes me to take forever to finish a book. Another thing I do to help me read is I usually bring a book with me wherever I go, whether it's when I'm going out to practice or I'm going out with my mom somewhere. Even though I don't really like reading in public, like I'll read in the car, but I don't like when we get out and we're like standing waiting for something reading, because I like being aware of what's going on around me, and then when I'm reading a book I am obviously not that aware because I want to get into the book's world and get into what the characters are doing, so I'll tune out to the world, and I don't really like that in public settings. But another thing is I really don't like starting and stopping reading, so that also sometimes prevents me from like just picking up a book and just reading. Like if I'll have 5 minutes, I won't pick up a book, I'll pick up my phone. I don't like starting to get into the world and then having to stop and go do something else. And then for I guess my final point that I'll make is sometimes I'll just sit down and read for hours. Usually this is when I'm like don't have school, so like over a break or something, or even on the weekend I'll just sit and I'll read for a long time, especially if the book is really good. I enjoy those periods when I do sit down and just read, but that doesn't really happen that often, but when it does, I do read a lot. So those are all my reading habits for now that I could really think of, because it was kind of hard for me to make this video because I was having to observe myself and think about what do I do and stuff like that. But I hope y'all enjoy, and I hope you'll come back for some more videos and check out my other content. That's all for now. I'll catch y'all later. I hope y'all enjoyed. Bye.